Welcome back to the Lead2Xceed chat with me, Henry Baye. In today's chat, I will be building on our chat on diversity and suggest a few tips on how leaders can build diverse organizations and build a culture that appreciates diversity. So in my previous chat on diversity, I made the point that diversity is about having the right mix in the organization and around the table. It was quite clear that women and men, different ethnicities and different generations bring different flavors to the meal of leadership and corporate life. Organizations who either do not care about diversity or pay lip service to it miss a very important mix that ensures that almost 90% of the time, it makes better decisions. The question then is, how do we go about building a diverse organization? Building a diverse organization is difficult, no doubt. There are many things that affect the way we see ourselves and by extension, how we see others. These factors can become major blocks against the effort to build diverse organizations. Diversity does not just happen when things are left in autopilot. When things are left in autopilot, there are certain biases that dictate what the organization begins to look like. I would like to talk about 4 types of situations that can influence how we make decisions on people. First of all, we can get unduly influenced by the first impressions we have based on their people's appearance or the impressions they make by the way they speak or come across. This creates what is called a halo effect that seems to crowd our judgment of them. Someone may have done something really well, which may have nothing to do with the job they are being interviewed for, but the praises they've received and what they have done from everyone can create this kind of halo effect when we are looking at them or assessing them. The second bias is we all seem to remember the most recent impressions, and this tends to affect how we relate to situations and make decisions. Some writers have called this the recency effect. Our decisions on people can also get impacted by our personal biases. So personal biases usually relate to characteristics and experiences that we share with people. And this could be the schools we attended, the ethnic groups we belong to, the places of common travel, our sex, our family relationships, and just anything that we may have in common. Finally, there is also the decisions and biases that are driven by our own insecurities. So this is called the threat bias, and it is where a manager or somebody who becomes a blocker because they consider someone else a threat or a competition. So as you can imagine, if things are left in autopilot, these are the biases that will shape the way the organization begins to look like, which is why the subject of diversity cannot just be left in autopilot. Building diverse organizations requires certain deliberateness around it. I will suggest the following tips that are important to drive a well-planned, deliberate activity. First of all, develop aspirations around diversity. You see, in a normal world where things work the way we expect, this would not have been necessary to set aspirations. However, in an autopilot situation where things get shaped by our conscious and unconscious biases, we must set clear aspirations around how diverse we want organizations and our teams to look like. So to create a diverse organization, we must be clear as to what aspirations we want to pursue. For example, some organizations have set targets around gender, ethnicity, generations, and the mix they expect to see by a certain milestone. Indeed, these days, some investors actually want to see how organizations they have invested in are aspiring and taking action towards their diversity aspirations. The second important tip is build a culture that is comfortable with diversity. There are some organizational cultures that just don't accommodate diversity. In fact, they abhor it. Some groups and teams prefer to be a boys' club or a girls' club, or if they had their own way. In some situations, people actually do not want to hear the voices of younger people in their teams and in their leadership. One way to create a culture that is comfortable with diversity is to allow for the exploration of all these differences in a safe, positive, and nurturing environment. We must move beyond just simply tolerating our differences and other cultures and so on, but to move to truly valuing them. And also, we must allow ourselves to both embrace and celebrate the rich dimensions of diversity contained within each individual and place positive value on diversity in the community and in the workforce. The third tip that I'd like to give is around the entry point of organizations. The entry point of every organization is through the recruitment process, right? So this means that we have to set guidance around recruitment. The guidance must include how diverse interview panels should be, for example. When an interview panel is diverse, it promotes diverse thinking and appreciation of people's experiences and talent. Diverse thinking needs to be built into psychometric testing and all the tools that are used in the selection process. There should be a clear balance between experience and talent to enable bringing in diverse generations into the organizations. When recruiting for teams, the talents being looked for must bring diversity of thought and experience and background. This means the current team must be taken into consideration in deciding what is missing. There are many other tools that can be used to assure diversity at the time of recruitment. It is possible to have a diverse organization, but that does not promote inclusiveness. So inclusiveness is the second part of the diversity conversation, which involves actually harnessing the envisaged benefits of diversity. If you have a diverse organization but refuse to promote diverse inclusiveness, then the benefits are totally lost. The final tip is lead by example and let the tone from the top be loud. This is the one most important factor in building a diverse organization. When leaders embrace diversity and celebrate it, they demonstrate intolerance around its abuse and put their money where their mouth is. Nothing is more powerful. I'd like to conclude this chat by suggesting that every person is on a continuum when it comes to the discussion of diversity. For some people, any discussion about bringing others of different age groups, sex, or ethnicity just upsets them. For some others, they just tolerate it because that is the modern trend. For some others, they actually embrace it but will not go out of their way to champion it. And yet for some others, they will go out of their way to really champion diversity and become allies to promoting it. I will encourage all leaders to gravitate towards becoming the champions of diversity, real champions. This will require some amount of self-examination to help us walk the journey towards becoming real champions. As I bring this chat to a close, is there a question on your mind that you would like answered? Is there something that you'd like to explore a bit more that you have heard in this chat? Or there is just a subject matter that you would also like to explore? If your answer to any of these questions is a yes, just pop up the question, send it to us through the email on the screen or through this channel. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on this chat. And also remember to hit the notification button so that anytime we share new content, you'll be the first to know. As always, this has been me, Henry Baye, on the Lead2Xceed chat. Lead2Xceed, inspiring leaders, multiplying impact. See you.